Susie Dent is a well-known English lexicographer who also appears in the popular British TV quiz Countdown. Could you give us an estimate of how many new words come into the English language each year?
A lot of people ask me how many new words are born in any particular year, and the quick answer to that is no one knows, because thousands and thousands and thousands of new words are made up every second. What we do know is that in the 20th century, about 900,000 new words went into the Oxford English Dictionary, which is the vast, vast dictionary that Oxford keeps going basically constantly, tracking current language and historical language. So that means on average about 900 words each year made it in a significant enough way to get into the dictionary.
How does a new word or expression get into the dictionary?
Normally dictionary makers will wait about 5 years to see whether or not a word will survive before they put it in. So they have quite strict criteria. There are exceptions to that, and bling is a prime example. It went into the dictionary very, very soon. Bling is a wonderful word that is used by journalists particularly to sum up the sort of celebrity-obsessed, very materialistic opening years of the 21st century. But in fact, it was coined in 1999, and it was coined by a rapper. And I think it's an absolutely beautiful example of how US black slang particularly, and hip-hop and rap, have had a major influence on British slang particularly today. And it was used by the rapper Baby Gangster, or BG. And it was probably suggestive of lights flashing off jewellery, so it was bling, and that's how it was taken up. And it went into the mainstream incredibly quickly.
Where do new words come from?
One of the main processes by which new words come about today is one called blending, where you put two words together to form a new one. One of my favourite is chofers, which is a cross between a chair and a sofa, and waparazzi as well, which I think is really clever. And waparazzi is basically citizen journalists, if you like, going around snapping celebrities with their WAP-enabled phone. And so people thought, oh, we'll call them the waparazzi. So that's quite a good example of how new words are coming about. Mandals, another one, male sandals or man sandals, is another one that's been doing the rounds in Britain anyway. Another process by which new words are born is by bringing older words back. And so cool, for example, was around probably in the late 19th century. Then it was popularised by jazz circles, Charlie Parker and people like that. And now it's just, it's used by young people everywhere. Another way in which new words are coined, if you like, is when old words come back and take on a slightly different meaning. So again, they're not completely new at all, but we've adapted them to our new environment. A great example of this is wireless, whereas our grandparents, certainly in Britain, used to listen to the wireless, and it meant a portable radio. Today, wireless has everything to do with broadband and the way that we use our computers in a cable-free way.
Any other ways?
English has long been a hoover, really, of foreign languages, and it is made up of so many different words from different cultures, right back from Latin and Greek to modern influences now. Food is a wonderful example of that, where we just take different cuisines from around the world and we introduce obviously examples like sushi, sashimi, that sort of thing, into our language. Brand names, another key way in which we generate new words, if you like. If you think about Kleenex or Hoover, as I mentioned, those used to be brand names. Then they are still brand names, but we've somehow imported them so that we know exactly what we're talking about, and they mean anything generic.
Do you have any favourite new words of the last few years?
I have so many favourites from the last few years. Ever since I've been first writing the language reports, I have to collect my favourite new words of the year. I loved the idea of a marmalade dropper, which was basically a news item that made you drop your toast in the morning. And in America it was called a muffin choker.